Hi, Ursula. Sorry that I've been gone for a week. I'm coming home now.
Got it. You're going to be separated from now on, so I wanted you to have some time together as husband and wife. Take your time and enjoy your trip back home.
Thank you very much.
So, did you and Christopher have a good time together?
Yes, we had a lot of fun. It was a much nicer place than I had expected. My husband and I were talking about going again together with you.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm really going to miss him. I can't believe Christopher will be working alone for a year there.
I know. I wonder if I should have followed him. I know it's a little late for that, but I've been thinking about it.
Don't worry. He'll be back after a year. And you want to keep your current job, right?
Yes.
My son treasures you, so you don't have to worry about him doing nasty things behind your back. But the problem is that he'll be living overseas. If it's within the US, he can just come home during the holidays. But since he's overseas, it's not so easy. I'll have to put up with the fact that I won't be able to see him often.
That's right. I've been thinking about it, and I still feel lonely.
It's obvious since you've only been married for a year. But you have me, Samantha. You should do more housework so that you don't feel so lonely anymore. Let's live a lively life together.
Thank you very much. But please be gentle with me.
I'm just kidding. Oh, you're coming home tonight, right? What about dinner?
I'm thinking of eating at home with the whole family.
I see. Then I'll cook dinner.
Are you sure? That's very kind of you.
It's not a big deal. I have a lot of spare time. Besides, if I don't move and do something, I might suffer from dementia in the meantime. I should at least cook for my family.
No, you don't have to. You're still very healthy.
I may look younger than my age, but I already had my 60th birthday.
I think you're fine.
Thank you, my dear. I'll do my best to live a long and healthy life. Anyway, I'll make dinner for you. Tell my son to drive home safely. Samantha, I want fish for dinner tonight. Please make some vegetable salad and corn soup too.
Sorry, Ursula. I have to work overtime today, so I can't come home early.
What? So you want me to cook?
I'm planning to leave work around past 8 p.m. I can only cook dinner after that if you want me to.
That means I won't be able to eat until around 9 p.m., right? That's not good for my health. No problem. I'll get a food delivery.
Sorry.
Looks like you're slacking off after my son left for overseas. You think it's fine to stop doing the housework if your husband isn't around, right?
I beg your pardon?
Isn't that right? Skipping chores because of work is terrible, isn't it? You want me to do everything for you, don't you?
That's not true. I think there have been days like this before when my husband was around.
That time it was either me or Christopher cooking. Christopher really did a great job, don't you think so? Did you think that I would cook for you this time too? You're really brazen.
Ursula, please don't get me wrong. I'm sorry if I did something that upset you. Lately, I feel like you have been acting differently than before. If I've been rude to you, please don't hesitate to tell me.
I think you're the one who's been acting differently. Ever since Christopher left, you've obviously been slacking off on the housework, haven't you?
I didn't mean to slack off. I've just been so busy with work.
You also cooked less dishes than before.
That's because you and I don't eat a lot, so I thought that 3 different dishes would be enough. Since my husband went abroad, there were a lot of leftovers inside the fridge. I just wanted to prevent food loss.
Why don't you reduce the quantity of food instead? You should think a little more. Seems that you're not very smart.
I'm really sorry for that.
Besides, can you not do the laundry at night? My room is close to the washroom, so it's too noisy. I'm sure you'll make some excuse that you only have time to do it at night anyway. Why don't you get up early in the morning and do it? Can't you at least do that?
Duly understood. I'll try to get up early in the morning from now on.
I've been thinking for a while that you're really uncaring. You even tried to take advantage of me for doing the housework. I think you totally forgot that I'm your mother-in-law. Every single thing you do is rude to me.
I didn't mean to be rude. I never intended to do so. I'm sorry that I upset you, and I'll be careful from now on.
You cut corners too much, using your busy schedule as an excuse. You're too spoiled even for a wife. And the fact that you think you're a match for my son pisses me off. Christopher graduated from a prestigious university and is now working hard at a foreign company, while you graduated from high school and work at a small company. And yet you don't quit your job even after marriage. You've been acting bossy just because you're working.
I'm not bossy. I had no idea that you wanted me to quit my job.
If you were at the same level as my son, I wouldn't have thought anything about that. But you can't bring much money even though you're working full-time. If that's the case, I would have preferred you to be a housewife who takes care of the housework properly. I mean, housework is a lot of work, you know. Housewives are really great, aren't they?
I see. I didn't know that you thought that way.
Well, it's too late now, and I don't expect anything more from you. I should have realized it when you told me that your parents passed away. I hope you and my son get divorced as soon as possible. That's what I'm hoping for now.
What?
People who don't receive enough love and affection are somehow lacking as human beings, aren't they? I'm sorry, but it still shows on every corner. Christopher grew up in an ordinary family, so he isn't a match for you.
I'm really sorry. I'll work harder at housework from now on. I'll try not to bother you.
Yes, please do that. Be as useful to me as possible so that I'll be glad you're here. Well, I don't think you're capable to do that anyway. And if you ever depend on my son for anything, I will seriously kick you out of the house. You should know your current position and act accordingly.
I'm sorry, Ursula. I can't come home today.
You mean you're staying somewhere else? Are you aware of what you're saying? You're my son's wife. Are you seriously saying you'll be away from home? What do you mean?
I was at work when I collapsed. My fever is rising, so I've decided to stay at a friend's house near my office today. I'm afraid I'll bother you if I go home.
I see. I guess that means you're having an affair with another man. I don't understand why you've got some nerve to stay overnight at other people's houses. What kind of a wife are you?
Please don't get me wrong. My friend is a woman, and my husband already knows about the situation because I've already told him.
Then who will cook my dinner? Who's going to make breakfast tomorrow? Who's going to do the cleaning and laundry? And what about cleaning the pond in the garden that I've been working on since yesterday? Also, who's gonna do all the housework that's piling up? You can't just leave those half done. You said you'd continue when you got home, didn't you?
Of course I'll do it properly when I'm feeling better. Please, let me take today and tomorrow off. My body is wobbly and I can't move around.
It's just a cold anyway, right? When I was young, I'd do things around the house even when I had a fever. It's a common sense. There's no rest for a housewife.
If I go home in my current state, there's really nothing I can do. Besides, you got over a cold last week. There's a chance I could spread it to you by going home, so I'm staying out today. I don't want to bother you.
You really are a jerk for not listening to me. I wish you'd never come home. I'm fine with that. Too bad that you have nowhere else to go. That's why it's so hard to be parentless, since you don't have a home to go back to. That's the worst.
Ursula, I was hoping we could get along like we used to, but I'm sure that's no longer possible. I understood that you hate me so much.
If you leave my son, we'll go back to the way things were before. I don't want to keep talking like this either, okay?
Okay then.
I'm glad that you finally understand. Get ready to get the heck out of here. It won't do you any good to stay. I don't want to see your face anymore.
Ursula, where are you? You're not at home?
Yes. I'm staying at a hotel that has hot spring facility with a friend. I thought I'd take a break. What do you want?
I just got home. I can't get in the house.
There's no way you can get in the house, because I changed the locks. I don't want you anymore, so get out of here and divorce my son. I don't even want to look at you anymore.
You've gone too far, old hag.
What? Who do you think you're talking to, stupid woman? Don't get carried away, lunatic old hag. Huh? What do you mean by lunatic old hag? Looks like you've finally shown your true colors, Samantha. I knew it. People who don't have parents have a bad temperament. Not only do you have a bad temperament, but you say dirty words too. I'll make sure to tell my son exactly what you said.
What I just repeatedly told you were the words of your son.
What? Christopher said that? He'll never say such a thing. He's overseas.
It's true. After my husband went overseas, you suddenly changed and started to bully me. I told my husband everything that you did to me. My husband was surprised and very embarrassed.
You told my son? What a stupid wife you are. Don't you want to get along with me? What an eloquent woman.
I didn't lie about wanting to get along with you, but I've given up on that. Besides, the only reason I came home today was to get my stuff. I'm going to leave as you wished.
Really? That's great. Now I don't have to see you anymore. I'm so glad. But where are you going? You don't have a family home, so are you going to sleep rough? That would be good for you anyway.
I'm working. I can move anywhere I want. I can at least pay the rent myself. My parents died, so I don't have a place to go to, but I can find my own.
I see. But if you're going to leave, you'll have to write divorce papers. I'll have you leave my son.
What's the point of me writing them? My husband is overseas. He won't agree to it. I can't file for divorce without permission.
I'm the only family he has left. He would never leave me. He let me move in with both of you right away after marriage. A mother is a big deal to a child. I think you misunderstood my son.
The only reason we moved in together was because I allowed it. My husband said we should live separately with you.
No way. What are you talking about? Stop lying.
I'm not lying. I said to Christopher that I'd be happy to live with you. You were so nice to me at first. I thought we could be like a real mother and daughter. I never thought it would end up like this.
My son will do whatever I tell him to do. He'll always do what his mother says.
Could it be because my husband didn't argue with you the whole time? You were telling my husband how bad I am behind my back, weren't you? That I was skipping chores, or that I might be having an affair? My husband told me that you contacted him every day just to tell him about those kinds of things.
But it's true, isn't it? Your behavior was suspicious. And when I proposed divorce to my son, he said he understood. I feel sorry for him since he's working so hard for you. Too bad, Samantha. Seems like my son doesn't love you anymore.
What's unfortunate is that you don't understand your situation. I'm the one who asked my husband to keep up with your story. My husband knows the truth.
Don't be silly and stop joking.
I'm not joking, it's true. He's going to cut off ties with you. Of course, I'm going to do the same too.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm serious.
If Christopher was angry, why didn't he warn me? He was always nice to me.
That's because I had asked him to do so. I had memories of you when you were kind to me, and I wanted to be friends with you like we were back then, if possible. I thought things could go back to the way they were, but it seemed that I was wrong.
Hold on a sec. I just got a message from my son. He said he's never coming home again. He'll also cut ties with me.
Yes, I just asked him to tell you because you refused to believe me. We will never have anything to do with you ever again. We've come to realize that it's not possible to get along with you. From now on, please live on your own. I'll come back later to pick up my belongings.
Wait a minute. I don't understand.
What do you mean?
I'm going home tomorrow, so can you come over to our house at night?
Sure thing, I'll do that.
You can stay at the house for a while. It's hard to find a new place right away, isn't it? You don't have to find a new place and just stay there.
I can move into a monthly apartment right away. Please don't worry about that.
You know what? Mothers tend to treat their sons in a special way. I didn't mean to treat you so badly.
I beg your pardon?
I was hard on you because of my conflicting feelings as Christopher's mother. That's why I escalated things a bit. I have a responsibility as a parent. I had no choice.
What are you talking about? I can't believe you changed your mind as soon as my husband went overseas. You told him how bad I am behind my back, and you did it in an attempt to get me divorced from him. You told me that because my parents passed away, I don't have common sense. Then I shall leave as you wish.
That's not true. I just wanted you to be on the same level as Christopher, so I was just saying that to motivate you. I didn't mean to offend you.
That was just a snide remark. If you really meant it for my sake, why don't you tell your friends around you about what you did to me? If no one accuses you of anything, I'll believe your words.
I'm sorry.
Does that mean you want to admit everything you've done? That you tried to trick me so that you can have me divorced from your son?
I didn't mean it. I just felt lonely because I felt like my son was taken away from me.
Even if you didn't mean it, it was really hard for me. I was worried that I had done something wrong to you who were so kind to me. You were verbally abusive to me every day. The other day when I was cleaning the pond, you even poured water on my head. I caught a cold because of it. I couldn't rest at home, so I stayed at a friend's house, and you accused me of infidelity. It was really hellish. I've had enough. I can't deal with you anymore.
Please forgive me, Samantha. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'll apologize again and again, so please forgive me.
I don't think an apology is enough. You just changed your mind because your son isn't taking your side, right? How pathetic. You bullied me like crazy and now you want me to forget all of those? Stop kidding me.
It won't happen again, so please, forgive me. And tell my son that you've made peace with me. I beg you.
I refuse. I'm sorry, but I no longer have any desire to make things right with you. It was you who weren't aware of how to treat other people fairly. The day after Ursula returned from her trip, I went to our house to pick up some necessary belongings. I didn't want to go, but I couldn't just leave her there. While I was at home, she cried and stopped me from leaving. I ignored her, worked in silence, and left the house. She followed me to the front door, crying so hard that we were approached by a neighbor who heard her voice. I told them that I was leaving because Ursula was bullying me and got into a cab. I think the neighbors were surprised. and Ursula seemed quite shocked that my husband had cut her off, so she stopped caring about her appearance. She started mumbling to herself and wandering around the neighborhood. I really don't want to get involved with her, but I don't want to disturb the people around me. The other day, I asked a relative to take her to the hospital. Ursula was admitted to a psychiatric ward and is currently undergoing treatment. If she ended up in depression, I wish she had not bullied me, but I think she just hated me so much. It's a shame, no matter how many times I think about it. I don't want to think that Ursula, who was kind to me in the beginning, lied about everything. But I think that she was showing me her true personality. I'm so glad that I realized everything quickly. Then, a year passed, and my husband returned home from overseas. It had been 6 months since we had seen each other, since he returned once to take care of things related to Ursula. Thanks to the fact that he was always on my side, even when we were apart, that I was able to endure the bully. I'm so glad that my husband is a kind man. From now on, I will slowly live a peaceful and happy life with my husband.
Hey, Caroline, are you free right now? I hope you've thought about moving in together. We've talked about it so many times. We haven't talked about it at all since then. I'm still doing okay, but it's been 3 years since my husband passed away. I'm not young anymore. I think it's a good idea for us to start living together sooner rather than later. Good evening, Fiona. Ah, that? Let me be honest with you. Since you don't seem to understand in a roundabout way, we can't have another person live here with us at this moment. Huh? What do you think you're saying that based on? You are currently unemployed, right? Daniel told me that you recently quit your part-time job. If you really want to live with us, you have to work. Huh? Instead of taking care of an old lady, you want me to work? Why should I work if I'm going to live with my son and his wife? How dare you talk to me like that? I mean, you're being supported by him, and who do you think you are? But I'm working too. Huh? Working? Don't make me laugh. A shifty part-timer doesn't have a right to speak like that. No, I work full-time. Don't get me wrong. I quit my job in preparation for moving in with you guys. What? It's hard for me to commute. It takes me an hour to get to my workplace from your house. In that case, I have no choice but to quit. Your job was cashier, right? Then why don't you find one nearby before you move in? You're so picky. All about money. Forget it. I've decided to move in with you. And you know, I don't like small houses, and I can't live with 3 people in a 1DK apartment. Buy a house or an apartment right away. At least sign a lease for a bigger apartment and move out as soon as possible. No. What is impossible is impossible. Please do not decide on your own. The size should be at least 3 LDK. Please don't behave recklessly. I didn't agree to live with you. I didn't ask for your opinion. This is a mother-in-law's decision. I'll talk to Daniel since he's the head of the family, and we'll decide as we go along. So you should start packing your things too. That's terrible. That's too selfish. Fiona, what did you do? You sent a resignation letter to my workplace without my permission? Yes, I did. It was for your own good. I'm glad they received it. You're glad? So it was you after all. Why would you do that? Why are you harassing me like that? If you quit the company, you wouldn't know what to do. Now you'll have to move in with me. Fiona, you were close. That resignation letter is invalid. Huh? Of course. It wasn't written by me. Besides, I'm a competent person at my company. Do you know what will happen if I quit? You don't have to get so hyper. You just need to concentrate on moving out and getting ready to move in with me, and then find another job when you move back in. It may be difficult to find a full-time job, but there are plenty of part-time jobs out there. I can't be that patient. A part-time? Do you think we have enough savings? Huh? I've had many discussions with Daniel,
but he doesn't even think about earning more. I want him to think more about the future and work more diligently, and yet, can you tell him about it? If you want to live together, that's the first step. Caroline, do you even know what you're saying? You spend that much money? Excuse me? How can you say that his income is not enough? How can you live like that? Do you know how much his income is? Of course! I am his mother. Of course I know. I heard it directly from him. Do you really think, with that amount of money, that we can both live a normal life without any jobs? Yes! Why do you ask? If you don't spend much money outside, we will have more than enough. Actually, more. I'm not spending a lot. I'm saving it. Oh my! How extravagant you are. I can't believe you need to save money with his income. Excuse me, Fiona. I feel we are not on the same page. Are you okay? Do you really know how much he earns? You're persistent. I told you I heard from him. Is your sense of finances okay? How have you been living until now? That's rude. Same to you. I'm a normal person. I can say that saving money is my hobby. I thought it's you who have a different sense. Oh my God, that's stubbornness and boldness. We can't communicate. I'll talk it over with Daniel. Oh, by the way, he has been staying at your house, right? Yes, I'm keeping him around. It would be better if he stayed here so that I can talk to him. He doesn't respond to any texts or calls from me. Why is that? I don't want him to get on your bad side. I don't want you to interfere with our plans to move in together. Hey, please don't proceed with the conversation on your own. If I respect your opinion, which you are against, we will not be able to move on at all. I'll tell you when everything is finalized regarding moving in together. I can't take that in. I am his wife. That attitude is only for now. Once we start living together, I will put a lot of effort into training you, so be prepared.
Hey sis, long time no see. Can I talk to you? I'm in a bit of trouble.
Hey Keith, long time no see. What's up?
I'm on my way home from a business trip.
Oh really? Finally? Congratulations.
Well, my house was stolen. I mean, it's like, I know it's kind of weird.
Huh? What are you talking about? There's no way that could happen.
It's been a while since I went home, so I thought I'd use this weekend to do some maintenance on my house over here. But it seems like someone is living in there. I went there at night and the lights were on.
What? You have to call the police about that.
Of course. I was in a hurry and thought about doing that too. But when I asked the neighbors first, they told me that someone moved in a week ago. I don't want to tell you this, but I heard your husband and his mother's name.
What? How is that possible?
I don't know. I thought it would be a good idea to check with you before I call the police since you have the key to my house, so I texted you. Do you have any idea?
Hold on a second. I want to check on something. Sorry, I think they have done it. It's my fault.
What happened?
I put the key in the safe so that I don't lose, but it's missing. Only Daniel and I know the password to that safe, so maybe he took it.
Why in the world would they do that?
Actually, his mother was pushing me to move in with her, but I told her that in order to live with us, she would have to work too. She told me that she had already quit her part-time job, and I didn't have to work if I'm going to live with her.
Well, you can't live like that. You work full-time, so you guys are able to make the living, right? She doesn't have a job and wants to live with you?
I've tried to explain it to her, but it seemed like we were not on the same page. Daniel is at her house and ignoring my calls. I've been having a hard time communicating with them, and it has led to this mess.
I see. They have done it in a very sneaky way. So, they decide everything without talking to you and making you trouble since you don't listen to them. I don't know why, but I'm guessing that they decided to use my house to live. That's a pretty bold move. Perhaps they took the advantage of the fact that the house owner, which is me, is away on a 3-year business trip at the local branch office, huh? Well, that sounds smart but brazen.
Maybe that's what they are planning. Sorry, Keith. I'll do something about it. I never thought they would steal the house you bought.
It's not your fault, sis. So, let me think what I can do. Of course, I'll help you. Where are you now? At my friend's place. I've got a place where I can settle down, so I'm fine. You just take care of yourself. Okay, thanks. I can't forgive them. I'll call his mother. Depending on what they say, I'm prepared for the worst case. Fiona, how are you? It seems that you moved out without telling me. But where on earth did you move to? Oh, Caroline! I was just about to call you. I wouldn't do something so mean. Am I correct in assuming that Daniel is with you at your new place? Yes, of course. My son is with me. I didn't tell you because you are so insane and stubborn that I decided to give you a punishment before we move in together. Why would you do that? I don't remember doing anything to be punished. You are still saying that? I feel sorry for Daniel who has a wife like this. If you continue to be so selfish, we will have to consider divorce. What have I done? I don't remember doing anything to lead to divorce. That's enough. You're being supported by him. God, you're wrong. You think I'm the one being supported by him? That's right. We don't need a wife who doesn't treat her husband well, who makes $7,000 a month. $7,000? Did he really say $7,000? If you don't want to get divorced, apologize and agree to live with me. I'll forgive you if you apologize properly. Of course, I'll tell you where to move in after that. If you get down on your knees and beg me to move in with you, I'll tell you where to live. LOL. Demanding me to get down on my knees through a text? You want me to send you a picture of me on my knees? Yeah, that's a good idea. That's nice. I decline. Huh? There's no reason for me to do that. I don't have to apologize, and why should I? Caroline, all you do is talk back at me like that. You really are stubborn. Is it okay if Daniel divorces you? Yes, I'm so tired of it, so it's fine. Maybe it's better that way. Huh? Because think about it. I can divorce a husband with $700 income every month. What $700? Yes, his monthly income is $700. Did you know? It's just a part-time job. Don't make bad jokes. What the hell are you saying? Daniel is a high-class employee. His monthly salary is $7,000. You don't understand. Who told you $7,000? I told you many times. I asked Daniel. When I asked him about his monthly income, he used his fingers to say 7. With his fingers. Wow. So he didn't verbally say 7,000? What? Surely he would be embarrassed to say 700. It's also your problem to assume it's 7,000 instead of thinking it as 700. Unfortunately, it is true that his income is $700. And yet, you've caused such trouble and people involved who have nothing to do with it. I don't want a husband like that anymore. Oh, fine. Same to you. I don't need a lying wife either. Well then, divorcing would be fine, right? I mean, I'm divorcing him. Then I'll be relieved. Yeah, sore loser. Well then, Daniel and I will live happily together in this 4DK house that he bought for me. Sorry, no. That house will be returned to its real owner. What? Return it? The real owner? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean. Caroline, what the hell is this? It's you, isn't it? Your brother came to me and asked me to leave this house. You siblings are just like each other. What's going on? Oh, he already came? What the hell? What do you mean he already came? Give me a break. That house was purchased by my brother. Huh? My brother Keith had a dream of having his own house from an early age. In order to buy a house, he worked hard at part-time jobs since he was a student, and after 8 years of working, he got his own house at the age of 26, even though he is single. You and Daniel moved into that precious house. What are you talking about? When his house was built, he couldn't live there yet because he was transferred to a local branch office for a limited period of 3 years. While he was away, I kept the spare key,
since I live in the next town. But it seems that Daniel took that spare key without permission and in a secret. What? I don't know what you heard from him, but it must have been very frustrating for my brother, who is the real owner of the house. It's a brand new house. When he came home from maintenance, such as weeding the garden and cleaning the house, he found out that someone had been living there. Of course, he would ask you guys to leave. I'm so confused. What am I supposed to do? It's simple. Why don't you just leave? I don't recommend you to run away or stay in the house because it won't be good for you. I can't just leave right away. Then you tell your brother that he should give this house to me and Daniel right now. Yes, that's it. Huh? What are you saying? Are you okay? Oh, of course I'm sure. He's the wife's brother, so he should listen to in-laws. What you're saying is insane. But, unfortunately, actually, me and Daniel were not married anymore. Huh? Just a while ago, I finalized the divorce. What? That's impossible! Daniel hasn't responded yet. No, I had already asked him long ago. I'm so glad I prepared for it. What do you mean? You really don't know anything, do you? Daniel quit the company 6 months ago without telling me. What? That's a lie, right? Well, I thought it was irresponsible, but I can't help that he already quit. So I was working full-time for a while, supporting our life, and thinking that in the meantime, he could work part-time and look for a job. But what was he thinking? He didn't start looking for a job after a month, and occasionally go out for a short-term job or a day job, and the rest of the time, he would just laze around. I tried to rush him, but it only ended up in a fight. I was afraid that if we didn't do something, we would both fall apart. So I made him respond the paper with the promise that if he didn't find a new job in the next 5 months, we would get divorced. But when I looked at the calendar, I saw that the deadline had passed, so unfortunately, we are divorced. A part-time job? A day job? No way! You've got to be kidding! Then is it true that he earns $700? You should ask him for the number firmly and verbally. I'm not his wife anymore. I am divorced, so I have no further interest in telling his financial situation. And since you guys are trespassing, my brother has called the police. The police? Of course. You're staying in someone else's house without permission. Please get out of my brother's house as soon as possible. It's better for your own sake. That's all I have to say. Please accept this as my last kindness. Excuse me, Caroline! Now, if you'll excuse me.
How's it going, sis? Anything I can do to help?
Well, I've decided where I'm going to move to, so I guess the first thing I need to do is packing.
I see. Well, I'll go help. Leave the heavy lifting to me.
Hey, what are you going to do with that house? It's a great new place to live, but you know that thing happened before the actual owner lives in?
Haha, I know, right? Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you something about that. Actually, the land in that area has skyrocketed and I was able to sell it for almost as much as I paid for it. I couldn't live in that place anymore, so...
Oh wow, that's great.
I got the fee for the inconvenience from them, and when I get transferred back here, I'll look for a better place to live.
Yeah, take your time to find a nice house this time, okay? I'll help you too. I'm glad it didn't become a negative experience for you.
I know, right? I'm totally fine. And you too, sis. I know you're starting from scratch again, but hang in there. I'm here for you.
Thank you.
Well, call me anytime. I'll come visit you at your new place when I get out of the busy work season.
Yeah, see you. After talking to Fiona, she was taken in a police car with Daniel, and she was sobbing. Even at the police station, she kept making excuses, making everyone tired. Finally, her uncle came to pick them up from the countryside and took them home. She had been lied by Daniel that he had bought a house, so she was a victim in one way. They had a big fight every day because she mistakenly thought that his monthly salary was $7,000 instead of $700. But the uncle got furious and told them both to work, and then they finally started to look for a job. Thanks to this, I finally live in peace. My hard work was praised at work, and I was successfully promoted to a full-time employee. I was able to start my post-divorce life with stability. As a side note, Fiona's habit of making wild assumptions has not been changed. I heard a few months later that she caused some trouble in my old apartment and the landlord sued her for damages.